Hi everybody, welcome to this video, and this time I'm again going to do a critiquing of a song. It's something different than what I normally do. I talk a lot about spirituality and conspiracy, but I'm also a musician and I create music. I've played in a band. It's been a while ago now, but I still make music also with my wife Meg. And if you want to check out my songs, you can see them on my YouTube under the music playlist. It's our original music songs we write ourselves, and I play drums and the guitar. I do the instruments and Meg sings on it. But anyway, so I'm going to critique Tool and the song Schism, which is basically their most favorite song, but it's also a really, really good song, and it's typically Tool. One thing I want to say before we start is Tool is kind of a hard band to get into. I remember when I was like 17 years old, 18, 19 years old, I was into heavy metal, and I remember seeing Tool at Ozfest and hearing Tool on the radio, but I didn't get into it. There was like a wall between me and the music. It was not only until like 2 years later when I heard them in shall I say, an expanded state of consciousness that it suddenly clicked for me. And suddenly I got to music, and I know it became one of my favorite bands. And interestingly, the same thing happened to my wife Meg. Because when I was playing Tool in the car, at first she was like, what's this weird music? I'm not into it. I think it's weird. She couldn't feel it. And remember, we were in France going to a Tool concert. We had a weekend in Paris. So we went to see Tool in Paris, and she loved it. Meg loved it. So suddenly she got it. So Tool is like a band that has like a little bit of a wall around itself. And when you're outside of the wall, you don't really get it. It's not vibing with you. But once you're in the wall, it's really, really cool, and you get it and you feel it, and it's amazing, basically. It's just amazing music. But that's interesting that Tool has that. Let's just start listening to the song. I'm just going to start here. We got this beautiful bass intro with the bass chords. The song is very centered on the bass. So this is a crazy riff, actually, because it's in an odd time meter, which means most of the Western music is in 4/4, which is very straightforward. It's like 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1. So basically 95% of Western modern music is in 4/4, or maybe 3/4. Like you got 1 2 3 1 2 3 1, which more has a swing feel because it's like more of a swing, right? 1 2 3 1 2 3. But this song is neither in 3/4 or 4/4. This song switches actually time signatures about like 50 times. This song is known to like switch time signature 50 times. So the song can, for example, go from 4/4 to 3/4. So 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4. You see how it feels less straightforward? Well, this song is even worse than that because it switches between like 5/8, 7/8, 6/8. So the 8 means that it's double the time. So it's 1 2 3 4. That's 1/4, but 1/8 is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So it's in 8 notes, basically 2 times faster. So let's count the time signature of this song and how it's kind of weird. So let me try to count it here. 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 4 5. So see how it just switches constantly between 5/8 and 7/8. So it's 1 2 3 4 5 and then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, which is really which is very uncommon. But Tool has a way of making although and you're gonna see even further in the song, it switches to 6/8 and 6/4, and it's really weird. But Tool has a way of making it sound really dynamic and really fluid. A lot of musicians who try to be progressive and who try to write in odd time signatures, it sounds forced. But with Tool, the beauty here is it doesn't sound forced. Although it's like a very weird time signature, it just like kind of flows, and that makes it also weird and psychedelic. So this song is also a very psychedelic song because it's got that like it's like you're in an altered state of consciousness when you listen to it. You get into an altered state of consciousness. An example of a song that really embraces that psychedelicness, that's one of the most famous songs, is from White Rabbit, from Jefferson Airplane. So, and you know that song White Rabbit is known as a really psychedelic song because they use, lots of sound. And, sometimes bands try to be psychedelic by using a lot of reverb and a lot of delays. And although there's like a lot of reverb and delay, there's some reverb and delay going on here. The real psychedelicness of the song doesn't come from the use of its effects, like echo and reverb and delay and stuff. It comes from the psychedelicness is just innate. Psychedelicness is just innate. It comes from, just the general mood and the weird time signatures and just that beautiful riff by Justin Chancellor. I mean, that the bass riff is actually leading the song because, the bass riff started the song. It's just leading into it. Another thing is this song uses a lot of triplets. So in the bass riff, that's like a triplet. It's like a quick, 3 notes in one beat. So let's keep listening. Notice how the guitar creates like a soundscape. He does like a power chord and he lets it ring out. You see how Adam Jones lets it ring out. And here you can hear, so here it changes a bit, so the guitars and also the drum changes, so that Danny Carey's drumming is really fantastic here. I mean, there's so much to say about this song. So Danny Carey's drumming is when the bass does, he does the same triplet but on the hi-hat. Now in this section, he switches from the hi-hat to the tom. So he follows actually, it's very, like I said, it's very centered on the bass riff. And Danny Carey's drumming, it's like the riff of what Danny Carey plays is actually basically 6/4. For drummers, it's a 6/4 riff. Why is it 6/4? Because the riff under it, the bass riff that drives it, is 5/8 plus 7/8, and 5 plus 7 is 12/8. So 12/8 is basically the same as 6/4. So it's quite interesting how it all like flows together. And I also like, and I'm gonna start playing here again. I also like Danny Carey's tasteful use of the hi-hat. So he opens the hi-hat every once in a while to make it more interesting. Now we're into like kind of another main riff. And now it goes back to the original riff, which is in 5/8 and 7/8. So the main riff is not in 5/8 and 7/8. There it changes again. The main riff is like 6/8 and 7/8. So I'll count when it starts again. Beautiful. So, 1. Can count it up to late. And then it gets into a heavier section, which is in 6/4. So the heavy guitars come in, and beautiful playing by Adam Jones. You know the stops he did. Works together with the drummer really well. Again, Danny Carey, tasteful playing. Again using that hi-hat. So if you listen to it, he uses the hi-hat to like accentuate the stops that the guitar does, like the little stops. So it's just amazing playing. And Danny Carey, of course, he's to be able to play something. It's one thing to emulate it, to just play it when you have like the notes in front of you and we try to emulate Danny Carey's playing. But it's a whole other thing to come up with it. In a song that is as challenging as it is because of the shifting time. So it's really crazy. So we're back to that main riff. Also, there's second vocals going on by Maynard, so he sings like a little bit higher. It's subtle, but you can hear it. There's multiple vocal layers going on. So again, we're changing here from 6/8, from 5/8 and 7/8 to 6/8 and 7/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. And here we're changing again. I'm not even going to count anymore because it's just it changes. It basically changes the whole time. The time signatures. Yeah, I have a little cheat sheet here where I can see. So now it goes like to 9/8 and 5/8. It's just it changes the whole time. But I know I can play this song on guitar and most part on drum, and it's you just gotta feel it. It's so they made a song that is like that has 50 odd meter time changes, but still it just flows, which is the beauty of it, and which is the sign of true mastery in creating music. If you can a song that has like 50 different time changes, but still sounds like it's fluid, that's total mastery. Let's continue. And another beautiful riff. They're slowing down now. This is also typically Tool. They have a lot of dynamics in their music. They can go really hard, but they can be very, calm and silent and moody. Got a little bit of weird sounds going on here. It's like a soundscape they're creating. It's like a moment of relaxation in the song, and that's what also makes their music so good, because they have a lot of dynamics. They can be really loud and aggressive, but also very contemplative. So it's like music that is, if you look at it like from a spiritual perspective, it's music that is very complete, because the whole range of frequencies are represented and the whole range of dynamics are represented. It goes from like anger, seriousness, angst, to like spiritual contemplation, basically, in some of the songs, which is their songs have a big range. So the whole spectrum of frequencies is actually represented, from like, if you compare it to like the human chakra system, from the base chakra to the crown chakra, the spiritual, the earthiness. You've got with Tool, you have everything. You have the emotion, the water. You have the earth is like the base. And then you have the spiritual aspect, which comes in with Maynard's vocals and the sounds and the Tool is really a band that the four instruments really all have their place. There is like they fit so well together as a band. That's why they sound totally unique. There is no band that sounds like Tool. There is just, people may try to emulate, but there's no band that sounds like Tool. So let's keep on listening. Beautiful singing by Maynard. You can feel it's like building up to something. There's tension, a little bit of tension in it, like. You can feel it building up now, it's building up. Drum comes in, and they're building up even more. Before we go into the next section, see how they build it up. And Tool is also a band that can really, like, their build-ups are really long. This is like a build-up of like 1 minute. They are able to keep that energy and just keep it going and keep it going and keep stretching and keep building it up, which is just amazing, which shows the mastery of their craft, of their art. So let's move on to the heavier section now. Especially in the next section, take note of Danny Carey's drumming, which is just amazing. So what we got here was a very heavy riff. So he goes back to his like drop D, very heavy, like pounding riff, with Danny Carey's drumming that build up to it, just plain amazing. So we're going to go into yet another section, which is going to use the triplets that I talked about in the beginning. So it's going to come back in the music, both in the guitar and the drum. So listen to, especially to the drum, you're going to hear the triplets again. You hear the triplets here in the drum. That's basically the triplets that they've been doing throughout the whole song. And what is interesting in Tool, sometimes I hear like influences of Led Zeppelin, in the way the guitar works, like with the stops, but also especially in the drum, like the triplets that he plays on the drum, Danny Carey. You might think it's like a double bass, but it's not a double bass triplet, and that will really become apparent at the end of the song. Well, let me play you, and then I'll say where I hear the Led Zeppelin influence. Yeah, so the last part, so this part here, I'm gonna play it again. Just that last part here, you people would think it's like a double bass. Oh, mind a little bit. But it's not double bass actually. He plays the floor tom, and then he plays 2 bass drums, and in triplet format. So what I hear here from John Bonham from Led Zeppelin, because Bonham was known for his Bonham triplets, where he played basically like floor tom, snare, and then bass drum. So 1 2 3 1 2 3. So like floor, snare, bass drum. So pam 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 pam. And he did it very fast. But Danny Carey is actually playing a Bonham triplet here, but a little bit different. So he's not doing floor tom, snare, bass drum, but he's doing floor tom, bass drum, which is in a way like an inverted Bonham triplet or something. So I do hear these influences of like John Bonham here, but it's a little bit like changed, but it's still there. It's not very overt. Like the influences of Led Zeppelin, for example, and Black Sabbath are not very overt, but it's in there when you listen to it, but like in a modified form. So anyway, I think this is just an absolutely amazing song, and a band like no other. And it's one of their most favorite songs, but it's a very, 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 very good one. I mean, to be able to pull this off, to make a song that is as complicated and as deep as this, and to be able to make it into a hit song, that's not all hit songs are good, of course, but this is a song that is really good and that has been a hit, which is really hard to pull off, to make something this progressive and to make it like sound and flow so that that it becomes playable on radio and like on MTV and stuff. That's not easy to do. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. It's something else. It's something I love to do because I love this music. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next video. Bye.